I'm 27 and I'm not where I want to be at. It's pretty hard to admit that. It's a lot of pride and vulnerability, really, fear of judgment. And but I know that this is important for me to share and put out there as part of my process of integration and self-acceptance. I remember when I was 18, I had this very firm belief that I would be a millionaire by 24, in a couple years, right? I thought at 18, I was like, I'll definitely be rich by then. I'll figure out some type of online business, or, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to make all this money. And, I had ideas of where I would live and what that would look like, the house and the car, the bank account, maybe even a family. In many ways, I still want those things. I still want to be materially successful. But it's funny because my path has always been a path of spiritual development, like spiritual awakening. And I've learned to prioritize that over short-term financial gains. And so the point of this video is I just want to also share about how you can start to learn to appreciate where you are at right now. If you're a man watching this, doesn't matter where you're at, how old you are. I just want to be able to give you some insight or some perspective on how you can essentially feel more okay and comfortable with where you are at right now. And just reflecting more about my path, right? There's been so many ups and downs, but the majority of my path has been, just focusing on learning, healing, self-reflection, discovery, really self-discovery, and choosing experiences that gave me wisdom over just quick money, right? Working a boring job, or working a job that was stimulating in some way, but really wasn't aligned with where my soul was asking for me to be at. And yeah, when I look where I'm at right now, I don't check off certain boxes of success. And I know everyone around me, my family specifically, views my current state and my process so far as like a failure, as lackluster. But despite looking and analyzing where I'm at right now from a, let's say, matrix or material perspective, I know where I am at right now on maybe, let's say, a holistic or spiritual perspective is actually quite wealthy and abundant. You see, I've chosen experiences that have given me so much insight and wisdom that there's a lot of people who walk traditional paths that then end up paying like thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to learn, or like they'll pay thousands of dollars to like a therapist or whatever, or spent through insurance like a lot of money to deal with their psychological state. And it's kind of like, well, I didn't have to spend much to gain this wisdom. In many ways, like, a lot of it was, was free. And I know that I learned stuff that most people never, especially most men, never get to learn in their life. A lot of men never really get to experience a level of connection with themselves, with their soul, because all they do is just work and then try to cope with all the stress of their life, and so they drown themselves in entertainment, and then they spend their time with friends who don't ever go in those like more deeper realms of experience or thought, so they end up just experiencing just very shallow connections. So yeah, like, I know that I'm not where I want to be at, but I know I am where I need to be at, if that makes sense. Like, I need to be in the current position that I'm in to be experiencing what I'm experiencing right now, to be cultivating the connections that I have right now, and all the experiences leading up to where I'm at, like all the experiences leading up to the present moment, were all necessary, and we're all integral pieces to the pie, to the puzzle, to the larger story, to my story, to my hero's journey. Right? And so, like, I studied digital marketing, and a big marketing principle that I discovered through Donald Miller and his framework called the StoryBrand framework. And he breaks down how story is the best way to communicate with people. And he doesn't mean it like literally of like, oh, you have to tell stories, but he's talking about how there's main components to what makes a narrative. And one of the central pieces to a narrative is the problem, is the obstacles, the challenges that the hero faces in a story, in their journey. Because without that problem, there isn't polarization, there isn't activation, there isn't an engaging experience or narrative, right? So it's like, imagine you watch any movie and you remove the problems, you would just watch a boring vlog. There would be no like emotional reason or incentive to continue to watch the movie to the end. So, I'm realizing that all of everything that I'm experiencing and that I have experienced, all the challenges, are all part of this hero arc that I'm on. This path of initiation as a man, this path of self-initiation as a soul. And it is very, very difficult to be able to hold this higher holistic spiritual knowing or mental framework over my experience, because your nervous system and your body tends to resort towards shutdown or hyper arousal. It's like your heart just pounds and you're just in this intense state all the time. So it's like a combination or a fluctuation between being frozen and being in a fight state. But I understand that this is part of what my soul has attracted to experience, to gain wisdom and insight that I would have never gotten in any other context or scenario. So today I was feeling a lot of pressure and stress, and I just wanted to distract myself and I couldn't move. I wanted to move towards my goals. I wanted to work on the things that I want to work on, but I was feeling so much pressure. But then I walked myself through a process of remembering that I need to tend to my body and to assert in this moment that everything is unfolding for my highest timeline, and that life doesn't happen to me. It is created through me and by me. And when I go inside and I close my eyes and I focus on my body, my sensations, and I breathe and I charge my energy centers, that I essentially get connected to my creational abilities. And in those states, I can essentially manipulate reality towards specific outcomes. That the unfoldment of my life isn't a passive phenomenon. That what I experience is something that is directly being influenced by myself, by me. And yeah, it's going into that, going inward and breathing into my body. I was able to see how everything is going to be okay, and that no matter what unfolds, I'll be able to not just make it through, but that whatever occurs to me is a gift and an opportunity to experience, and not necessarily something that's a burden or something to ignore or try to push through or push away or to ignore, to realize that every moment that I'm alive is a gift, right? So basically, returning into these more balanced states helps you make better decisions. It helps you improve your ability to create, to make choices that are directly aligned to what your sole purpose is. And yeah, and it helps you connect to the highest path, the highest timeline. And it's actually the most accelerated timeline. And if you're going through struggles, just know that it's an alignment, and really trust that. Peace out.